All right, welcome to the Popcorner Threes Pod. This is a brand new podcast where we combine movies, TV, comedy, and the NBA. And our topic for today is which Game of Thrones characters can really ball? It's a question we've all been asking ourselves for a long time. So we're going to do this fantasy draft style. And joining me are Omar. What's up, Omar?
How's it going?
And Bobby. What's going on, Bobby?
Not much. I'm excited to do this. I put in the research. I put in the work. The big board is ready. Let's do this thing.
So a key distinction here. So we're not choosing our favorite Game of Thrones characters or who we think like would win an actual battle. We're choosing who we literally think would be best at basketball. So like height, size, width, personality, play style, all that is going to come into play. And we're drafting our starting five. And so we have to specify what position they're going to play. You know, it's a positionless league, but we'll sort of specify what position we're drafting them to play.
Who do I got at the stretch mark for this week?
This is going to be awesome. I'm going to tentatively call this a draft of fire and ice. Are we all right with that?
Yeah.
It's like what George R. R. Martin is calling the rest of the novels that he still hasn't finished.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question before we get started? Process question.
Yes,
right
please.
Off the bat. I'm an engaged GM. I got to know.
Yeah.
Are we getting this character in their athletic prime, or are we getting the version that we see in the show? Because that might change a couple of my picks. I did mostly pick the version in the show, or I did mostly envision the version in the show. But for listeners at home and for us in the draft, are we able to sort of time travel a bit with the athletic prime?
This is because Tywin Lannister is like 6'3", right? This is what you're.
No, I think it has to be. I think it has to be their prime, but within what we see on the show. So you can't be like, well, after the show ends, I imagine in 10 years this person would be like this.
He's got growth potential. He's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
But if like the character gets old or dies or something later in the seasons, but you're like, oh, I want like season 2 of this character, like you can do that.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me quickly cross off
Like,
beast when he was younger, but is okay. Thank you for answering my process question. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay, let's get started. Bobby, actually, I'm glad you asked the question because I think we're gonna go alphabetical order, first name, and we'll do snake draft. So we'll go you, me, Omar, and then Omar, me, you.
Okay.
So take it away. You're on the clock, I should say.
So this is so tough to go first overall because there are a couple people who I feel like are not in the spirit of the draft. Like I'm not going to draft 1-1 because that's just a dunk every time. 1-1 the giant who storms the wall. The northern wall. That seems like cheating. So I'm going to go with main characters, people who I would want to play with. So I'm going to go first overall pick, running the point, running the show. I'm going to go Arya Stark.
I knew it. Damn it.
The speed, the shiftiness, the change of direction, but more importantly, a cerebral player. And I want to set the tone for my team by drafting a player who I think is going to have a killer instinct for certain. You could definitely say that about Arya Stark.
You could say that.
But also like play within themselves. You know, Arya isn't trying to win a battle of strength. Arya is trying to play her own game. And I think that that's a good place to start my squad.
You know, she was number 1 on my big board. I had a feeling you would go there. I also think it's smart to go point guard first because you don't want it to be a situation where you're like, well, let me go like Ayton or Bagley over Luka Doncic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well go point guard.
Is that too chalk? Was I too boring for that? Did I not splice it up a little bit?
No, not at all. I think that's the correct choice. And now you leave me with now I'm scrambling. Everyone in the in my war room here is like, oh, what?
It's a second overall pick. You can't be scrambling yet.
No. I'm good. Okay. For the second overall pick, I'm gonna go Khal Drogo. And so he's probably gonna play the 4 for me. Definitely can play small ball 5. But I'm gonna go ahead and call him my stretch 4. And the reason I feel really good about taking him in the first round, taking him this high, is because I did a little research, and I'm not sure if you guys remember, but one of the reasons why he was so respected and well known, like amongst the Dothraki, was because he was undefeated in battle. Like that was literally his thing, was like he's undefeated. So I figure using my first round pick on him is pretty smart, because you immediately kind of get this mythical like Jordan 6-0 in the finals, he can't lose aura about your team. And obviously I think the physicality speaks for itself. So for me, this was my first round pick, Khal Drogo playing the 4.
I mean, that's Zion Williamson right there. That's unstoppable force.
That is exactly what I wrote. He was on my board, and I just imagined him like Zion, just like so strong, so athletic, like his size. Yeah.
Momoa's pretty tall too.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4".
6'4".
Yep. So I'm feeling good about that. Omar, you're on the clock.
All right. I do have to say, I feel pretty good sitting at number 3 here with my pick, who I'm pretty sure it just, and having the 3rd and 4th pick, this helps. And I do think right now,
That's good.
I mean, Arya Stark is a great pick, but I am concerned about her size. We've seen Trae Young's ability to guard in the league. And so that's why I feel real good about selecting Brienne of Tarth, the number 3 overall pick.
Choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah, good pick.
I just think she's basically her. I mean, it's too easy a comp, but Brienne and Brianna Stewart, she is like, I imagine she's got a similar kind of play style.
Tarthy.
And she's just,
can we call her Tarthy?
Tarthy
nickname.
Just like fierce, loyal, like Dame Lillard loyal. Like I'm drafting her 3rd overall. Like she's gonna stay with the team for a long time. It's gonna be your leader. She's the Oath Keeper, right? That's her sword. And I just feel like she's just like gritty, tough, just like tons of heart. Will play hard, whether you're up 20 or down 20. She can use her size against smaller guards, but she can also like, float around and catch and shoot. I feel good, and she's 6'3". That I'm going for size. I like the size, and it's Brienne.
There's a lot of bigs to choose from, I think. It's a lot of bigs to choose from, but she was actually my number 1 big also. So
I had her on my list as well. Long list, obviously. She's definitely, either could play the 4 if you're going for a big lineup, or could definitely, hold down the 5. I'm a little concerned about the ball skills. I'm a little concerned. You're going to need to pair her with a playmaker, because she definitely is the overpowering type in her fighting style. So I'd be curious to see how it would translate onto the basketball court. Although, the footwork is amazing. So she's got some promise showing there.
That's why I think with my 4th pick, my 2nd pick for me, but the 4th overall pick, I'm going with the Viper, Prince Oberyn of Dorne. Just, I think he's super skilled, plays the point. He's got a great handle, quick, can shoot the 3. He's got flash. He's got flair. Also, same, like tons of heart. Always like great fight. I think he's got like a little Kyrie in him. I think he can shake people.
A lot of Kyrie.
Really dance. I think he's more of a scorer than a playmaker, but definitely will set up his teammates. So that's what I'm going in. Pretty good size for guard. I'm going.
Yeah. I mean, I like that 1-2 punch, and the fact that you really immediately the top 2 picks on your team are very different and complement each other really well. So I think that was smart. Because I run into the issue now of, all right, so with the 5th overall pick in this draft, I'm going to go Tormund Giantsbane. I'm going to go Tormund. And so at this point, I'm going full, I'm like really embracing this identity of my team, where my 4 and 5 now are completely switchable. Like neither of them is like the true like stalwart 5, but I feel good about them being kind of this interchangeable 4-5 that can also, they're versatile. They're not just like stuck in the mud, old school. They have movement and skill as well with Khal and Tormund. And also, most importantly to me, is that I'm using my early round picks on leaders. So obviously, before teaming with Jon Snow, Tormund was king beyond the wall, literally king of the wildlings. And I ask you to this: what's harder to be the king of than wildlings? You know what I mean? Like literally no civilization, and they appoint you as king. And so if you could be the king of the wildlings, I feel like you can be the leader of a team. And I feel like if I'm going to make riskier picks later in the draft, I need my culture. I need my culture to be set up top.
Hold on. So
yeah.
You think the culture is locked down when you have Tormund and Khal Drogo? You got some strong personalities on this team. I'm curious to see how those two interact.
They're strong personalities, but like we're never gonna lose a game because of lack of effort. So
it is a little bit like Kobe Shaq. Like they're very strong personalities, very overpowering forces. Not sure how long you could build around those two, but definitely do not want to play against that team.
When I put Tormund on my list, he's like in my sort of honorable mention category, but I just imagined that he was basically like Ron Baker. Like when I was picturing Tormund play, I just kept thinking like he plays really hard, but I just don't think he's that good. Like I could just imagine him like jacking up a corner 3, like really excited and just airballing it like every time. And you're like, all right, good shot, Tormund.
He could be the guy that you play with and pick up where you're like, I'm not going anywhere near that guy because he's going to rupture all of the CLs in my knee. Every CL. I feel like the M, the A,
like either way,
the L.
I feel like either way, I want him on my team. But yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
Okay. Shockingly, everybody going big so far. I'm a little surprised by that. I know you mentioned, Khalil, that you felt like there was a lot of depth in the bigs category, but I had weirdly less depth in the bigs category. Maybe I'm just thinking too much about how the NBA is working these days. I'm just like, absolutely have to be switchable, absolutely have to have playmakers. But at the risk of losing all of the bigs, I'm going to go ahead and take a big here. And I'm going to take a big that already has some chemistry with my number one overall pick. Though he can be a little moody, I'm hoping that whatever coach we have has a strong personality. I'm going to go with the Hound. Who made for a great buddy duo with Arya, obviously, for many seasons. I think that was sort of the peak of both of their characters in terms of entertaining on-screen presence where they were bouncing off of each other. And on a basketball court, that's a great pick and roll duo right there. You're going to see a lot of pocket passes on the roll to the Hound going to the basket. And I don't know exactly what you do to stop that. Definitely not a lot of touch for that guy. The most we can hope for is elbow mid-range jumpers. I feel like he would definitely be the dude that would try to bank a lot of shots in the NBA. That's a lost art, but I think he's going to try to bank. And yeah, I mean, I'm imagining him a little bit like in the David West role, maybe like a souped up David West. So it's not like the most exciting second round pick to get a souped up David West, but I don't want to have no bigs. Like I need to have somebody to cover Tormund and Brienne of Tarth and Khal Drogo. Like otherwise I'm kind of screwed here. So I've been backed into a corner. This is a need, not a want.
But he is going to single-handedly try to bring back the Brandon Bass baseline jumper.
Oh man, don't hit me with the Big Baby Davis. Give me Brandon Bass is okay, but don't tell me that he's Big Baby Davis.
No, he's not.
Okay, so I have another pick, right? Because I'm at the hot corner here. And this is a challenge. Did you guys find trouble with the sort of like swing position, the small forward position, the 3-and-D guy? Because like all of the guys that I would want that are sort of like ball skilled enough that I think that they would have an okay jumper are like way undersized.
There's not a lot of like there's not a lot of the really like the mid-sized people. Everyone's huge or normal.
Exactly. Much like the current NBA, everyone is looking for a 3-and-D guy. But I think I'm gonna go Jon Snow. I think I'm gonna put him in at the 2 because I truly think that he has the best hand-eye, other than Arya, of anybody in Game of Thrones. Like that's sort of his calling card, right? Like he's the best, one of the best living. And there are a couple other guys, I don't want to spoil any picks, who are known for their swordsmanship and have incredible hand-eye. But Jon Snow, I mean, in terms of elusiveness, he avoided death many times. I know they got him once, but no spoilers if you haven't watched Game of Thrones. I don't know why you're listening to this podcast. But he also, to me, you mentioned Luca already, Khalil. He also, to me, has the pace down to a T. He has sort of a European his fighting style that I really appreciate. So I don't know, not much else other than that. I feel like we have good chemistry here too. The point guard has a relationship with the other two picks that I have made so far. So therefore, I feel like I'm cooking with gas so far.
Yeah, I love him as a backcourt mate. The skill is undeniable. I'll be honest, Jon was pretty low on my board just because of personality. I kind of feel like he he doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it. Omar, what do you think about Jon Snow? Where was he on your board?
I have to admit, he really wasn't. I just didn't.
Oh, man, killing me.
You reached.
But it's really more of a like I'm valuing size quite a bit in this war, and like
right, so you're trying to become the Magic. I see. I understand.
Right. I want my players big with wingspan but skilled.
Okay.
So that's what I mean, you can do a Google search of all these characters' heights, and John's Kit Harington.
Yeah, he's definitely short.
He's a little short. He's a little small, and I'm just worried about your backcourt.
We'll see. We'll leave it all out in the court. We'll let the court decide.
Don't count out Jon Snow though either. Arya and Jon Snow, like those two people, you cannot underestimate.
All right, where do I go next? I'm changing things on the fly here. At some point, I have to draft a point guard. Would probably be smart. Okay, I'm gonna go the young wolf, Robb Stark, as my point guard. Obviously, him getting killed is not ideal, but I'm taking pre getting murdered Robb Stark.
I'm getting Arya's getting back cuts layups on him all day. The court visibility is not there, but I like it.
Yeah.
But
so again, I felt like as soon as Arya was gone, honestly, my like chance for a superstar PG was gone, and so then like I was kind of just looking next for like my again, a leader, like an offense organizer, but also obviously someone who's super skilled. And Robb, King of the North for a time, so he can lead a team, an offense, organize an offense. Was incredibly well respected. Obviously, comes from a great bloodline. I mean, you've already got a couple Starks, Bobby, so you know what I'm talking about. Very skilled knight. Yeah, there's some limitations there with I think the size and like. I don't know if he's gonna like step on the court and be a bucket. I might have to see that to believe it. But I do feel good about him again being like not the flashy point guard, but just a very, very like a Mike Conley kind of to my offense.
Yeah, Jameer Nelson.
So all-star Jameer Nelson.
You got leaders. Yeah. The culture. Yeah. Khalil's culture.
I'm all culture.
All culture.
I want to be able to absorb some later picks. So
yeah. All right. Well, I got two back-to-back. So this is, I think I know my strategy here. You said you weren't sure if Robb Stark would step on the court and be but you know who I think is? Dario Naharis.
Nice. He was on my board. Yep. Yeah.
Is a stone cold killer, just a gunner. I think he's just got like, I don't know. I mean, I'm putting him, maybe you could slide him to the 3. We'll have to see how the draft shakes out, but I'm kind of thinking him and Oberyn in the backcourt together. And I just think they've got like a lot of I've got like a high powered duo. I think Dario's kind of like flying around everywhere. I think I think he's also got a handle. He can for sure shoot it. It's just like coming off screens, run, fire, slash. I think he could put it on the floor, do a little bit of everything.
He's not Tyler Harrow, you know, like he might just be, that might just be your guy right there.
That might just be who he is. He's got the swag. Yeah. I have a decision to make here. I'm going.
It's tough with the in the moments.
I'm going real big. Now the question is, yeah, I think I'm a little bit concerned with the chemistry issues here, but I'm going with Gregor Clegane, aka the Mountain. I'm gonna take him. I just think he's like, I don't know, like Steven Adams, but just like nasty Steve, like Kendrick Perkins meets, or like Ron Artest in the body of Steven Adams. In the books, apparently he's almost 8 feet tall, but in the show itself, the actors were anywhere from 6'9" to like 7'5".
Yeah,
so,
in the books he's 8 feet 400 pounds.
Apparently the dude who plays him, when he actually in like The Mountain and the Viper, for instance, that dude is like 6'9", 400 something pounds.
Yeah.
So just like,
Omar, I got a question. I'm not trying to hate. I got a question.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all about the fact that your point guard and your center have now fought each other to the death in one of the most historic episodes of Game of Thrones ever? And the crash course that you're headed towards is your Damian Lillard's head being pounded in and his eyes popped out.
I think we win a championship before we get to that point. So I think so I think we're okay. And then we can just trade the Mountain. Or something. I mean, I do think the chemistry is going to be an issue. Speaking of Shaq, Kobe,
this is more Kobe Shaq than my situation. This is. I knew the Mountain was going to come off the board at some point. The question was who was going to take that swing, because I feel like he's like the highest risk, highest reward pick maybe in the draft. Because he's also like, I mean, obviously Bobby just mentioned it, but like he's known for like his extreme violence and temper. Like, is he gonna even be able to stay on the court? Is he gonna like foul out in 5 minutes? Is he like, is he gonna get suspended in the finals? I think my fear with him was like, is not personality wise, but like, is he just like Boban Marjanovic? Like he's gonna like, you know what I mean? For like 8 minutes a game, he'll like dunk without jumping, but he's not actually that effective. I'm just throwing it out there,
especially with my center being the Hound. Right. That's a nice little story within a story.
Yeah.
There, whenever we match up with each other,
little Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez.
Yeah, except the fighting is real, not like the WWE stage thing that they do in the locker room, which they still kept that going. I mean, it's still novel to like House of Highlights, I guess.
Okay, so it's back to me. Again, we're doing this on the fly. I'm shifting around I need the boards with the magnets on them so I can more easily shift around my prospects here. Okay, I think it's time to make this pick. So with the 11th overall pick in this draft, I'm gonna go with Melisandre.
Oh.
And she'll be my shooting guard, I suppose. So I'm going this route because, and again, like physically, obviously not super imposing, and I guess skill-wise with The Rock remains to be seen, but I just felt like I could not go through this draft and not draft someone magic. I think there's not too many of them in this world, on the draft board, and so I decided to go with a little magic at the wing, at the 2-guard spot, and I think I guess we can discuss the rules and if this is allowed or not, but I figured if anyone suffers an injury, she can like heal them And like I might not have to worry about like my team staying healthy. And that's a real plus. Especially if we're like playing a lot of back-to-backs, traveling a lot.
I didn't get the medicals on all my draft picks. I didn't know that you were out there like doing the physicals.
You're playing 2K and turning off injuries. That's what you get to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the Lord of Light up in that locker room.
I've really backed myself into a corner here. There's like almost no more players over 6 foot tall. There are a couple, but not any that I really intended on drafting. So I need a small forward and I need a power forward. I'll just go with the power forward first because I feel pretty confident in this pick. I'm going to go with Yara Greyjoy, who is a tank. Just an absolute. If that is another Zion comp, honestly, out of all of the people that I had on my big board. So pretty simple. I mean, just we needed some size. Yara's pretty big, if not big, at least strong. So I don't know, in the Barkley mold of undersized, low center of gravity. I feel good about that. Now I have to fill the small forward spot. I'm just going to throw out a couple names because we're pretty late into the draft here. I'm considering Jaime Lannister because he's over 6 foot tall. I feel like he's a 3-and-D guy. I feel okay about him if I have to end up picking him. I was considering Grey Worm. I've since found out that he is 5'8", and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get a shot up. I was going to go way, way out on a limb and choose the Night King, who, displayed some decent athleticism. And then finally, this would be like my over the hill, but could give you a little guile and definitely would lead the team pick. And that would be Jorah Mormont, who is pretty big. He's over 6 foot tall. So that would be, I guess, passable. I think I'm going to go with Jaime Lannister, though. The skill is undeniable. I basically have a 3-guard lineup at that point, and I'm playing the old Brooklyn Nets game there with. I obviously don't have a 7-foot small forward, but it's okay. There's a lot of playmaking ability there with Arya, Jon Snow, Jaime Lannister. We might have some chemistry issues for a little while, but it depends on what version of Jaime Lannister we're getting. I choose to believe that I can have the redeemable version of him on the squad with championship aspirations. So I'll go Jaime Lannister. I don't think I can in good conscience bring the Night King onto the squad. Arya did kill him, and I did kind of make fun of Omar a little bit for choosing two players to kill each other.
He literally can't go left.
Or can't go right.
Or can't go right. He can't go right.
He's got no right hand.
He literally has no right hand.
But you told me at the beginning of the draft that I could have any version of them within the show. So I'm getting him with 2 hands, right?
You're getting him with 2 hands, but is the 2-hand version of him redeemable?
How many times did you see Trevor Ariza go left, Khalil? That dude was on championships.
No, you're right. I didn't realize you were putting Jaime into that role. So that makes
it's either him or John, and we've discussed that John is 5'7", so it's gonna be hard for me to put him in the small forward role.
Yeah, I do love that Jaime's the Kingslayer. So like, if you're in a series with the Lakers, like I feel pretty good about Jaime defending LeBron.
Yeah,
he'll look like an old timey like guard, NBA guard, just dribbling with one hand.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Like Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy.
So that was your last pick?
Yeah.
I am surprised no one's gone Night King. But okay, so I guess I'll talk through
Night King. Injury concerns on that guy. He went down in a heap. He only had really one battle and he went down in a heap. That's like that's the torn Achilles of this.
Talk about glass knees, right? Just
he's been around a long time though.
Yeah.
Been around a long time.
All right, so I'll go through for my last pick. So I'm kind of looking for my 3. I'm kind of looking for a wing to complete this. But I'll kind of name everyone else who was in consideration here. Not necessarily wings. But Hodor is still on the board. Who is I think is a solid big. There is a Bronn is on the board. Those are 2 that are intriguing for me, but I don't think I'm going to go with either of them. Like I've been hyping up all draft. I've kind of been setting up my team so that I could absorb like a J.R. Smith type wild card at the 3. So I've stacked my team with good leaders and good culture, hoping that this will pan out. But for my last pick, I'm going Cersei Lannister.
Wow.
And I know now. I know now. With my first few picks, I was all about the physicality, and lately I've just kind of thrown height out the window. But I feel like every championship team has a Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman, a Draymond Green. To me, that's Cersei. I think her demeanor alone could change the complexion of a 7-game series. Her basketball IQ would be off the charts. Like, talk about someone who's just like, her sense of strategy is on another level. And I think mainly I don't want to go up against her. So like, if she's on my team, I don't have to worry about her being on someone else's team. So I'm trying to build a lineup that's ruthless. And she kind of feels like the no-brainer final piece to complete my starting lineup.
What was it that really sealed the deal for you? Was it all the standing around doing nothing that displayed all the athleticism, or was it the poisoning of their own teammates? Was it I don't
I mean, I know you've tried to create a culture, but like, there are some players who just they are toxic to the locker room. I can't see how it's gonna end well. I want to see your 5 out there. I mean, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, let's run it. Let's roll them out there and see how it plays. And if it's not working, then she was my 5th pick anyway. I'm not losing. I don't feel like I spent a super high pick on her. So,
Wow.
All right, Omar, why don't you? So, do you have 1 left or 2 left?
Just 1.
1. All right, finish us off.
Okay, so who was I considering? Definitely Hodor was like my other big.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like maybe like a Zubac type, but
that's literally exactly what I was thinking. I was like, he probably has good touch,
yeah,
but he's not gonna like be able to hang with like the ferociousness of the other bigs.
And he's not gonna be able to like guard the pick and roll. I mean, Zubac is okay, but like, yeah. But everybody, like, every time he scores, your bench will go crazy. They'll like love Hodor to death.
Taco fall a little bit, yeah.
But like right now, we're pretty good with size. I might want to try and get someone who's like 6 foot. Yeah, the Night King's under consideration. I even thought about Robert Baratheon, who we were talking about before. Yeah. But I imagine he could like Raymond.
He still got game.
He's Raymond Felton. He's like Felton. Big body, bulldoze you. Could hit an outside shot. I think, though.
Again, what was it that convinced you that he should be on your squad? All the laying around in the bed, having people come and feed him, or
the stories of how he could fight a bull or whatever.
Good locker room guy.
Yeah. Oh shit. There's even we haven't mentioned Sansa Stark. She's got good size.
Yeah, she was on my board too. Apologies to her.
I'm between Sir Loras Tyrell, who I imagine is just a silky smooth shooter. You can never have too much shooting.
Bobby and I are both nodding with our eyes wide, like, oh.
Or
I hope this is when he gets indoctrinated into the cult. He probably let the jumper. He let it go when he was too busy. Like,
it's like riding
branding his forehead for the High Sparrow.
Or Jorah Mormont, the vet.
Yeah.
What does my team need?
My thing is like, is Jorah like more of like a 10th man than a 5th man?
Yeah.
He's
like though. He has decent athleticism. It depends on how much you think he has left in the tank. Like, is he pre-back brace Larry Bird or is he post-back brace Larry Bird? You don't know until he gets out on the court.
Yeah.
And I think right now, just based on the construction of my team, I am afraid of the chemistry. And I think a vet who's like a high character guy, like a glue guy too, right? I think in many ways. And he can like Vince Carter almost, like he can in his old age, like will compete on defense, can knock down an open shot, knows how to play the game. So I think I'm rounding out my starting 5 with Jorah Mormont.
All right, Omar, we'll start with you and we'll go around and we'll just recap your starting 5.
Yeah. All right. So at the point, the Viper, Prince of Dorne, Oberyn.
From North Carolina.
Standing at 5'10". Oberyn
Hailing from the
Martell.
cast-off Kingdom of Dorne.
Yeah.
International. We've got an international flair. At the 2, I'm going to roll out there. The Gunner, Stone Cold Killer, Dario Naharis. At the 3, the Glue, the Vet, Jorah Mormont. At the 4, the big body of Brienne of Tarth. And then 5, just the size, the mean, the nasty, Gregor Clegane, the Mountain.
Hopefully you've got some Mountain insurance off your bench.
Yeah, I'm hoping Hodor's still around.
If Hodor is still on the board.
Somebody buy out Hodor so Omar can get him on the squad.
All right, time for my squad. At the point, Robb, King of the North, Young Wolf, Stark. At the 2, the Red Woman, Melisandre. At the 3, just the Queen, Queen Cersei.
Such a wild pick.
At the 4, Khal Drogo. And at the 5, Tormund Giantsbane.
Your team has big AAU energy where there's just like you got 2 bigs and like everybody else is like get them the ball. Yeah. They're just like kind of nifty little they're like the braids of the operation. Okay, here's what I got. At the 1 I got Arya Stark. First overall pick. Feel good about it. Coming in at the 2, we got Jon Snow. At the 3, interesting matchup with your 3, Khalil. We have Jaime Lannister. Don't know how that's
gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
If we're playing man-to-man defense, I worry that they'll get sidetracked. At the 4, I have Yara Greyjoy. And at the 5, I have the Hound. So not the biggest team that I could have drafted of mythical characters, but I feel okay with it. We're a small ball positionless basketball.
What you have like 3, 4 playmakers on your team?
It's pick and roll all day, baby. It's just and the ball movement. It's the Golden State Warriors death lineup.
Thank you guys for doing this with me. This was super fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. It was great.
All right. See you next time.